Hey everyone, I'm Mo,
And I'm Jo.
and you're listening to Mojo and the Outsiders podcast, brought to you by Backwoods Adventure Mods. Today we're talking with Jeff with YT Industries. We're going to talk about how he got his start there, what he's doing now, and some of the stuff that keeps him busy. What's up, everybody? Today we're sitting here with Jeff from YT. He's going to give us a little rundown on how he got started there, what he does for fun, and some stuff like that. So, Jeff, why don't you go ahead and get into it, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the things you like to do in your free time.
Right on. Well, hey, thanks for having me, guys. Been looking forward to sitting down with you guys and chatting. But yeah, my name is Jeff. I work at YT Industries. I've been with the brand for about 6.5 years, going on 7 years. And we're running an operation here in Bentonville, northwestern Arkansas. It's called the YT Mill. It's our retail experience center. It gives us an opportunity to engage with people in the community and kind of show them what the brand's all about. But definitely been a mountain biker for quite a long time. Been overlanding for probably the last decade or so. So yeah, just like getting outside.
Yeah. What as far did you start mountain biking cuz you're not from Arkansas, are you?
No, so I was born in Puerto Rico, raised in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and
Heck yeah.
I used to ride bikes with my dad in the Virgin Islands, and we would ride trails by default because we weren't on the roads. But yeah, didn't really start mountain biking until we moved to California. We lived in Aliso Viejo, South Orange County, Southern California, and essentially as a 13, 14-year-old kid, I'd be out on the street on my BMX bike and I'd be like, man, like, why do all these neighbors have these rad bikes with shocks and disc brakes? And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know what those shocks are, but they look expensive. And yeah, now in hindsight, it's like they all had sweet specialized and
Yeah.
intense bikes and all these crazy bikes. So yeah, we eventually got into it kind of by default in proximity. We lived a quarter mile from one of the best trailheads on the West Coast. So
You gotta love when it happens like that. I know when I got into overlanding, it was the same type of thing. I opened up our public use maps and you see how much we have, and kind of like you realize you're like, dang man, I'm so close to it, man. How'd I get so lucky? I mean, so you're doing that out in California. How long have you been here?
So my wife and I moved to Arkansas, coming up on a year pretty soon here. We landed December 31st at 6 p.m. So we celebrated the new year here. The very first thing I did was unload my stereo from my car, cracked a bottle of wine moved next door to one of my friends on purpose, so
Hmm.
that we would have friends as soon as we got here. And yeah, we had a New Year's party at our house within the first 5 hours of moving here.
Holy
It
cow.
was awesome. Yeah.
Dude, you guys waste no time
No,
getting settled, right? The rest of that stuff can move in once you're done with the fun.
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and cuz I know you said been raised in Puerto Rico and spent some time in the US Virgin Islands. What brought y'all to California?
Yeah, so my dad works in manufacturing.
Yeah.
Actually, he works more on the aerospace side. And there were in the '90s there were a lot of tax incentives for companies to move down to the Virgin Islands, essentially trying to keep manufacturing um, on a U.S. territory.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then some of those deals fell apart in the mid 2000s. And at that point, my dad got relocated within the same company, just out to California. So we're following dad's work, and
Yeah.
yeah, we were kind of against it at first, but now looking back, it has defined who I am. So
Yeah. Well, and that's lucky that you had that experience, moving as a young child because I imagine making that move from California to here probably made it a lot easier, I'd imagine.
yeah, this place has been, man, I love Arkansas.
Yeah.
It's a real good happy medium to grow up on a
Hmm.
tiny island where it's small town problems.
Yeah.
You can drive in one direction for 5 hours and leave. To a certain point. We're
Yeah.
on an island. You're very much landlocked.
Yeah.
So going from a small island to California where it's just like I mean, you finding a space to be alone, overlanding is the only way to get away,
Yeah.
right? And then being here where it's like, okay, cool, like it's a small town, we can leave and find solitude relatively quickly,
Hmm.
but it's not overcrowded. So yeah, we're stoked.
I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. I noticed you like to spend some of your time out in the outdoors and everything. Where did that like stem from?
My parents are super outdoorsy.
Yeah.
My dad had several Volkswagen vans. They grew up
Heck yes.
kind of in that hippie era. He was a big time Volkswagen guy.
Hmm.
Pretty sure I was conceived in a Volkswagen van when my parents were listening to the Bee Gees. My dad's got all the stories of engine swaps, trailside services, all that good stuff. And now it's actually evolved to where he has a um, Ford Econoline Sportsmobile.
Oh yeah.
Massive tires, massive. I mean, this thing is like it's a tank.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It is insane.
We've done some work with Sportsmobile, so we know exactly what kind of van you're talking about. And those are so good for out west. Where is he still out there?
Yeah, so they are in Southern California. They're about 2 hours from Anza Borrego, if you know where that is. So Anza Borrego, Ocotillo Wells. That is kind of the first destination on their list when they're out traveling. That's where they'll kind of explore.
So I'm not familiar with that area. Is that like a pretty wooded area or how?
It's very much the desert.
Really?
So Ocotillo Wells is like it's a really big dirt bike destination.
Nice.
Big sand dunes. There's a lot of like canyon runs out there. So there's no. It's mostly cacti out
Yeah.
there,
That sounds
and
awesome.
ton of sand. Off roading out there is awesome in terms of it's less crawly, more pre-running type of
Hmm.
situations. But it's a hybrid, right? I think
Yeah.
a capable off-road vehicle can do both to some extent.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, I'm in a independent front and rear suspension rig, so I don't do much crawling. So I fancy myself more of a rally overland driver. But
Yeah.
Well, you checked on it. It's like as long as it gets you out to away from the folks, man, it doesn't have to get you far up over the biggest hill. Just put you in a spot where not everybody's at. And that's a win.
yeah, yeah, it's a nice thing out there is the city folk don't put much effort into getting lost. So you just need to
Yeah.
put in a little bit more effort than them and you'll really get out there. So
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that awesome vehicle you got, I saw it for the first time the other day. That awesome Montero, dude. Tell us about that thing. I love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. Being from the Virgin Islands, you go to Puerto Rico, there's Monteros everywhere, right?
Hmm.
Same thing with the Virgin Islands. It's kind of their forerunner, their version of that class of vehicle.
Yeah.
You don't see them here, but for me, it's such a regular vehicle to have because I grew up around them. I've actually it's 2024. In the year 2000, my parents test drove a 2000 Mitsubishi Montero. I remember
Yeah.
riding in the third row. I'm 7, 8 years old at that time, and I'm thinking to myself, "This car is super cool. You guys should buy this." At the time, it was a second generation Montero,
Hmm.
and I've been in a Montero essentially since then. I've had I ended up that was my first car that I inherited from my mom
Yeah.
was that second gen Montero, and I just like any irresponsible high schooler just absolutely rallied that thing to the ground.
You have to, right? You got to know where its limits are.
Yeah.
That thing was super capable. At least the driver was at the time. I've got like I get some pretty hilarious memories on Facebook these days of like just absolutely mud bogging that car and then like handing it back over to mom so she can drive it to work. Being like, man, like
Right.
if only they knew the things that I would do to that.
Yeah. Hope you got all the mud sprayed off before you turn the keys back over.
Yeah. And then I had a short period where I drove a Volvo V70 wagon,
Oh yeah.
and
Dude, that's JO's dream machine, man.
oh
He's a
my,
sucker for a Volvo wagon.
one of the square ones, super capable vehicle. And then I got my third gen Montero in probably 2015, 2016, and it is I, I have like pipe dreams of owning a truck one day, but honestly, this car just does everything that I need it to do,
Yeah.
and it is so easy to maintain.
Yeah.
I've also become an expert in it over the last decade or so. So
Yeah.
it's I'm just comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of home for me. So, and I enjoy driving it. It's such a fun vehicle and gets me where I need to go. You know,
Yeah.
I wish I had a little bit more articulation, more flex, but uh, 2 inch lift, 33-inch tires, got some sliders, skid plates, did a Torsen LSD swap on the rear, so a re-gear from an older generation Montero.
Mhm.
Um, and those couple things have just really they get me where I need to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a
Dude.
buddy, he was the same, he used to wheel one of those, and it's funny, the articulation, that's the one thing I remember about him wheeling it, is that, it always wanted to be up on 3 wheels,
Yep. Hmm.
no matter what the obstacle was, that front tire would lift, and then as it got enough weight on the forward, that rear tire would lift, so other than the articulation, though, I mean, those things will kinda go where you point them, and you kinda mentioned it earlier, but they're used all around the world. You see them out, in other countries and stuff like that. So definitely a capable vehicle. Hard to get stuff for them in the U.S. is what it seems like, But I know there's forums out there that seem like they have all the knowledge.
Yeah, it's definitely a shout out to this guy, Marco over at Luso Overland. He is one of the few distributors
Hmm.
in North America.
Yeah.
He's got all the good stuff. And I have called this guy countless times, just Marco, hey, like I got this issue, and he's the expert, small business, but he supports the entire Montero community in North America. So,
I mean, the fact that you can get them on the phone, like
oh yeah,
that's amazing. Some of these folks you can't get on the phone, they may not even list a phone number. So
Yeah.
those are definitely awesome things.
Yeah. That Montero, have you had a chance to take it out to the Ozarks at all yet?
oh man, so I have not. I've been fishing more than anything since moving
Nothing
out
matter with
here,
that.
Yeah.
and I've been. We have a creek spot where we'll go and off road a little bit to get to the creek. And my
Hmm.
very first time, day one off roading in northwestern Arkansas, I got completely bogged down to the rails.
Sounds
And
right.
it was just like I pride myself in my car is in the desert. It does not get stuck. Like the four
Yeah.
wheel drive system is designed for Dakar rally. Like it's a sand rally racer,
Yeah.
so it handles that really well. But I do not know how to drive in mud, and it was immediately, yeah. Essentially, I had pulled a trailer across the country, and I had one of those 3 ball hitches on it,
Oh yeah.
and one of the balls pointing down, and I essentially hooked myself into the ground and
Just
just
dragging the
just
earth.
dragged myself in, and immediately I was in Crocs and just walking around in mud. I was so embarrassing.
Oh, dude, you're always anytime you're gonna get stuck, man, you're gonna have the wrong footwear on. Same thing happened to me out in Arizona. A buddy of mine got stuck in the snow. Same, I jumped out in my chacos, and I mean, next thing I know, I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Trying to fish this thing with the wrong footwear.
Yeah, I got rescued by a Nissan, and I was like, "Man,
Right.
this sucks."
Dude, the low point in the Montero's life
I
when
know,
the
yeah,
Nissan hooked to it, right? I bet you tried and tried, like, no, man, I got it. No, man,
yeah.
I got it.
I
You know,
I I called my buddy Brett, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry for bugging you." He's like, "No, no, 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 no." He's like, "I love doing truck stuff," and I was like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna hear the end of this."
right? And I mean, that's a truck thing for sure.
What is the Montero's like biggest competitor? Like Toyota has Jeep, Ford has Chevrolet. What's Mitsubishi's?
Oh man, that's a tough question.
Right?
I don't think there's any Jeep
Yeah.
competition. I don't think Montero owners really respect Jeep owners all that much. But I think that's like anybody in the Japanese
Yeah.
overland
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
I'd say Toyota.
Really?
I would say it's most because everybody that has a Montero wishes it was a Land Cruiser.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It is, and this may not be PC, but it's the poor man's Land Cruiser
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Um,
poor man's Prado, man.
Yeah.
Full on, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I wish it was a Land Cruiser, and I know that as soon as I say that, I'm gonna leave here and have some sort of check engine light or something come on, but
Oh,
but that's all right.
dude, it won't let you down. It won't let you down. You know that.
Oh
Tried and
yeah,
true. Just
yeah,
keep putting fluids in them. They'll keep running.
yeah. I just keep on clearing the check engine lights,
Yeah.
and she's good.
Right
Yeah.
now, she's running right now. Just cleared that code.
Yeah.
So since moving here, I mean, as far as like mountain bikes, how would you say like the biking community here differs, back home?
Like The comparisons between the 2.
Yeah, this place is casual. I think it stems beyond the writing community. I think everybody here is so accepting and friendly and polite and um, non-judgmental. I think it's a lot easier to get into a new sport, or it's easier to pick up a new hobby here because everybody's so welcoming. Where in SoCal, it's a really great community, but everyone takes it really serious. I think a lot of people fancy themselves as a borderline professional athlete, and it's like I just gotta take back and be like, brother, this is
Yeah.
it's it's a mountain bike ride. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we don't need to freak out over the fact that your Strava glitched out. Like there's zero people care that you had the best run of your life and you
Yeah.
forgot to record it.
Nobody's checking your gold
Yeah.
medals, like, nobody's peeping your PRs.
Yeah, so not trying to badmouth them on the West Coast because it's the environment that I grew up in, but yeah, it's just way more relaxed here.
I mean, it's all we know, so we didn't grow up out there and stuff. So all we have is the base off is where we grew up, and it's always seemed like what you said. It is super inviting. There's multiple group rides, different clubs you can join. The Women of Oz, you can get women involved. Stuff like that. So it seems like there's a group for every level of riding. So it's like, and you'll find your people at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, yeah, super inviting here, and there's really big events in California that bring a lot of cyclists together. Part of me wonders if it's the volume of cyclists. There's
Hmm.
a lot of riders per the amount of trails, where here
Mhm.
it's the opposite.
Yeah.
It's kind of why surfing in SoCal can be kind of stressful. There's more
Yeah.
surfers than waves.
Yeah.
Where here, on any day of the week, you can find yourself alone on a trail, and you can rip at your own speed and
Yeah.
don't have to worry about someone running you over or ruining someone's Strava time.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, if you can go through the week, like you said, you may see, 5, 6 people out on a trail. The weekends, you may double that and stuff like that. But it's like what you're saying, if you want to find a trail that's a little more, less crowded, they're here.
Yeah, I think we're being outdoor enthusiasts like that. We're nomadic in the sense that we're always trying to get away
Yeah.
from people, and like doing something that is fun typically involves getting away from that crowd.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and biking's always one of those things too. Whether you had a good day, a bad day, you jump on the bike, man, and it's just all about what's in front of you. You're not focused on whether you got cussed out at work or whatever. It's just all about the ride. So very fortunate to have the trails we have around here.
Dang, you guys are having some pretty heavy duty days of backwoods, huh?
Oh, dude,
Getting
that
Wow.
ain't
cussed out
me.
of
That ain't me. But
work.
dude, Jo can attest to it, man. Not every customer who calls is happy with how something worked.
Yeah.
We're humans like the rest. So
Yeah.
to say we don't make mistakes would be a lie. But the one thing we do a great job at is, and Chris allows us to do this, is we can stand behind our product like nobody else in this industry. I can say that and feel confident saying that because if we messed up, error on our part, and we've got the part next day air, you'll have it.
Yeah.
Whether it be a roof rack, we've sent out free bumpers to people. Like I said, we just want people to be 100% satisfied at the end of the day with their purchase. So yeah, not very many bad days here. Like I said, every now and then you get somebody who wants to come through the phone, or they'll send you a nasty email. But once you get them on the phone, they can hear the sincerity in your voice. They know that you didn't do it on purpose. You're not trying to ruin their day. I mean, a lot of times you can just comb it over like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Most days it's pretty laid back, but yeah, most probably seen me have a panic attack or two, just when stuff doesn't go right. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm glad that I feel that way. It's like I'd rather, care so much about my job that it like really
Yeah.
causes me to kind of freak out than not care at all. So
What
yeah, I mean,
All three of us in this room all probably came from the same spot.
yep.
You're probably a consumer before you worked in the industry, and we
Exactly.
were the same. And so we always treat people with how we would want to be treated if we were to call a company and talk about an issue. So
Yep.
that's the most we can do, and it's probably why we're all pretty decent at what we do.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's part of the industry. Just like we're selling luxury items,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and it's kind of just like it's fun, it's enjoyable, and you're
Hmm.
passionate about what you do. It's easy to show up to work every day. But I think from the consumer side, some people overextend themselves a little bit on luxury items, and that's
Yeah.
I think where that I'll deal with. So I'm the manager of the technical service department. So we'll get people with brand new bikes that have an issue XYZ, whatever it may
Mhm.
be. And it's just first and foremost, I let them know like, hey, this is a mechanical thing. Human beings built this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect, like,
Yeah.
but we're here to help you with that. And I think that what I always try to instill into anybody is just make sure you're supporting brands that will support you after the fact, right?
Oh
Because
my gosh, right?
every product is prone to issues,
Yeah.
whatever it may be, big or small. But just
Yeah.
make sure you're going to get that support after the fact.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've had multiple people call us, and they're thankful to get a real human on the other end of the line. You don't have to navigate a big operator thing or talk to a robot for 5 minutes or just keep saying, put me through the operator. You're going to talk to a human eventually. You brought up your job at YT. How did you get your start there? Surely you didn't start out as the man.
So I've been in the bike industry for 12 years now, officially, maybe 13 years. I've only ever been in the bike industry. I don't
Yeah,
know anything else. I'm a bike shop guy through and through. I've had three jobs technically,
Yeah.
being at YT for almost 7 years now. But I got hired on initially. I worked in marketing and events.
hmm,
So we have this program called the Rolling Circus. So for the listeners that aren't aware, YT Industries is a consumer direct model, meaning that you can purchase our product, being YT bikes, online. Um, but we don't at the time we did not physically have a location that you could stop by and look at the bikes. The best
hmm.
sales tool was selling bikes, so that typically we would see the sales pattern go with groups of riders. One rider would buy one, their friend would say, hey, that bike is rad, I'm going to also get one.
Yep.
So the Rolling Circus was essentially a traveling demo team, and we would hit all the big bike festivals, have some of our own events where we were the festival, just
Yeah,
our crew. But yeah, we had a sprinter van loaded up with 25, 30 bikes and
dude,
big
how
demo set.
rad.
Oh my goodness, it was years of just partying. The slogan for the company is "Good Time," so it was like we worked really really hard from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. and then
Hmm.
as soon as we were done doing demos, we would just party. And that's it's cool looking at the organization now, YT North America, and seeing where the team has come from. Employee retention is insanely good. I look around at most of my coworkers, and most of the people have been there for 4, 5, 6 years. But anyway,
Right,
started in marketing,
dude, that's awesome.
doing events as a mechanic, and then COVID hit, kind of pivoted into warranty, so customer care type of work. Um, Introduced like a cool video conferencing mechanic help type of program. So if somebody had an issue, I would video call them and kind of walk them through the technical support of that.
Nice.
And then this Bentonville project has been on my radar for years. We were supposed to be out here during COVID, and then COVID kind of put a little bit of a damper on that,
Yeah.
which honestly, it really helped me out a ton. I was into a somewhat new relationship with my now wife, and I don't know if things would have panned out if we would have relocated at that time. So,
Yeah.
things happen for a reason. So,
I didn't know the mill had been like that long in the planning, but I mean, the facility you guys have is amazing. I know when I was looking for a bike and I saw that you guys had one, and the demo, man, it worked just like you guys draw it up, man. I went in there, threw my leg over one, probably a few days later, placed my order. So it's super cool, the way you guys do things, and super inviting. You walk in, you're friendly, your whole team's friendly. Whether it be Chris, Casey, BJ, it's like everybody is just top notch. You feel welcome as soon as you walk through the door, whether you've been riding for years or it's your first time into a bike shop. It's like you guys just welcome them in, open arms, and help them try and, figure out what they need. You're not just trying to throw them on a bike just to sell a bike. You want them to be happy with what they're going home with in the long run, right? Or else you probably have to hear about it.
yeah, we're we're trying to be everything that a bike shop is not.
Yeah.
And because of the structure of our business and organization, we don't to say that we're not sales oriented, it would be a straight up lie, but
Oh, yeah.
it's not something that when someone walks in the front door, we don't see them as a bike sale. We see it as like a we take a moment to educate them and
Mhm.
let them know what we're all about, why we do what we do and how we do it, and if they like it, we get along. They think the product is cool, and it's like, all right, then let's figure out, kind of where you fit in
Yeah.
within the product line, and get you on a bike. It's just a matter of um, being inviting and
Yeah.
having an interest in getting people on bikes versus selling them your product, just getting them into cycling in
Yeah.
general.
Well, I know you guys have done multiple group rides, just in the short time I've known you. I think y'all have already done, 4 Saturday rides that y'all put together. They leave from the mill at 10 a.m. You go out and rip and have a good time with everybody, come back. Sometimes you're cooking, sometimes it's just chilling back at the mill, maybe sucking on a coldie, but, it's always a good time.
Yeah, it's been cool. Kind of like we're a big operation in town, and we're doing
Mhm.
things way differently than most other people in town. But I was not expecting the wave of. I don't really know how else to say it besides like it feels like people think we're cool, you know.
Ah,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
facts. I'm one of those people.
Me too, man.
Yeah, it's been rad.
Yeah, I mean, like first time walking in the mill, like Mo said, it's just super inviting and all that. And because, like, I'll tell you, dude, I don't know just a ton about bikes. I know that I like riding them, but I couldn't tell you like every little component or, what brand it is and anything like that. And it's, normally going into a bike shop, a lot of times they make you feel just kind of stupid, I guess. And I didn't get that from you guys at all. I mean, at all. It was just walking in, everybody's just like, "Hey, what's up? Do you even bike?" And it's yes or no, it doesn't really matter. I mean, they're there to hang out and have fun no matter what. So yeah, I mean that's awesome.
Thanks. That means a lot. We pride ourselves in that, and hearing that really means a lot. We've been. It's obviously it's a really big project for us,
Yeah.
and we we could not have found people that are more passionate if we tried. Like we got so lucky with the team that we have, and everyone just falls into place perfectly.
How many folks are on like the YT team or North America team or that work at the mill? It's like I know you have 2 locations in the US. The
Yeah.
fact that one landed in Bentonville is amazing.
Yeah, so we've got so I guess a little bit of backstory there. So the company was founded in 2008 in Germany. So our headquarters is in Germany, and we have a location in the UK, and then the North American headquarters is based in San Clemente, down in Southern California. There is a mill location there. That mill opened in 2019.
Mhm.
Um, and then this being kind of our flagship retail location in North America.
Yeah.
Our team here is in the lower teens.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, I probably shouldn't tell you guys how large the company is in California,
Oh.
but it is. It is. I can't say that it is. It's much smaller than you would think.
Really?
You look around and think to yourself, much like Backwoods, right? You guys have this
Yeah.
massive presence, um, and uh, and then I meet you guys, and I'm like, oh, like this is you guys? That's
Yeah.
awesome. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like so rad. But I think that's cool for a company though, because if there's less people, the voices of the employees are heard,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they can make a change and really drive the direction of the company.
Well,
So
it's like easier to steer, 10 people in one direction than to steer 100 people in one direction. It's like you're saying, less is sometimes more if they're all on the same, drive and trying to get to the same goal. It's like, man, you want that group, they're all working together. The numbers don't matter. You're going to reach that end goal over time.
Yeah. Do you guys have much of a hand as far as like the designs of the bikes changing like geometry or anything like that or
yeah, so all of the design and engineering happens in Germany, and then we provide a lot of feedback from the North American side. We have a very large market share here, so as far as units that are being ridden, abused, broken,
yeah.
we've seen. I can for sure tell you that it doesn't matter the brand of the bike. If you have it on a roof rack and you forget to pull it off your roof rack and you drive into a parking structure, it will break.
Yeah.
But we do, down to the entry level positions at YT, we are sharing information on every single
That's
case
so
that we
cool.
touch. So, we may not be providing exact input on what we wish the head tube angle was, but they will hear us out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and information is pretty shared among the organization. So
Well, that's cool that nobody's like kept in the dark and everybody's kind of on the same page, knows what's coming downhill and what's heading their way. And that way, when it shows up, right, nobody's surprised. You don't have to explain why you did it this way or that way. Everybody's kind of in the know.
Yeah. As far as this is a question I was thinking about earlier. So, with y'all demoing a bunch of bikes, definitely know you do that. What is the absolute worst you've seen a bike come back?
oh, from a demo ride.
Yeah.
Oh
You
man,
gotta you gotta give them the quote that you kept saying, right? Don't be
yeah,
don't
I
be
mean,
gentle. It's a rental.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, we want people to ride the bikes as they would their own,
Yeah.
right? So whether that means riding it around the corner and hanging out at the bar, which we've seen, just like you guys, you signed up for a 2 hour demo to ride a quarter mile to crank a couple beers and could, hey, if that's what you want to purchase a bike for, and that you need to see yourself on it like that, then that might be the best sales tool. But oh man, there's been some. I think that people our bikes are super well maintained and very high quality, and you jump into a sports car, you're gonna want to drive it fast. That
Yeah.
definitely happens with our demos, and we've had a couple. People think that they can send it a little bit bigger on a jump. I don't understand why someone would want to try a new jump on a bike that's brand new to them, but it does happen. But you'd be surprised. But we haven't had any really catastrophic failures, mostly wheels and derailleurs, and
Yeah.
every now and then we'll catch a video of one of the local groms skidding our tires, and it's like, oh man, like they don't realize that these mountain bike tires are violently expensive, but
Yeah.
but it's all in good fun, and yeah.
I say wouldn't trade it, right? I mean, it's like, dude, go out there. I know watching you on this last ride we did, there was a guy on a bike and he came around and just super low geared and he tried to grab maybe 5, 6 gears at once, dude. And it sounded like that rear cassette was about to explode, as well as your head when I looked at you.
Yeah, it's we try to educate, everybody has room to grow,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
there's so many brand new cyclists, and they can't wrap their head around the fact that this expensive piece of equipment is very high tolerance, and things need to work a certain way. It's a it's a toy, at the end of the day. Or I think people forget that it's a high piece of technology, so
Yeah.
they
Well,
do need to be maintained.
yeah, you want everything working as designed, for you to get the best out of that thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So, for your style of riding, this is a segment we always do. It's called Start One, Cut One, Bench One. Okay. So,
Okay.
this is just for your style of riding.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Start one, cut one, bench one. The Capra, all right. The Izzo or the Jeffsy.
So I need to start on one, bench on one, and get one completely. So the bench one I'm just saving for later.
No, so you're gonna start one. This is your everyday rider. You're gonna bench one. That would be your maybe I'll ride it every now and then. Your cut one is the one that it's not in the fleet. It's not in your fleet.
Oh man,
And
that's tough.
this is for
That's
your
tough
style of
because all
riding.
three of them are in my fleet. This is
I
a
know.
bad. This is
I had a
this is a
feeling.
loaded question,
Well, we
man.
knew it'd be tough.
I
We knew
had a
it'd be
feeling.
Oh
tough.
man, I've been a Izzo and a Capra rider for some time.
Hmm.
Um, uh, our brand new Jeffsy is insane, and that'll be my start one.
Yeah.
I haven't owned one yet, but
Yeah.
I've put quite a few miles on it, and it sounds like a sales pitch, but every time we come out with a new bike, it's the best freaking bike you've ever ridden.
Yeah.
But the
Those are
new
facts.
dude, the new Jeffsy, it climbs. Um, it does not climb better than the Izzo, but it is so comfortable when
Yeah.
you're climbing that I'm okay going slower, being comfortable. I
Yeah.
can pull longer distances.
Mhm.
The in-frame storage on the new Jeffsy is it's awesome, man. Like you could probably fit 12 granola bars in the frame if you really wanted to, and a bike tube and a jacket. But yeah, I would definitely start Jeffsy. Gotta bench the Capra because there are certain days where you need the trophy truck.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's certain
Trying to rip.
there's certain situations where that bike will come through and really save you. Like Leatherwood out here, I had a couple moments where I was like, man, if I wasn't riding this Capra, I would be miserable or potentially broken.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I guess I'd cut the Izzo, which it hurts me to say that because the Izzo is my favorite bike that I've ever had,
Really?
ever. It's part of growth,
Yeah.
though, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, man, that's just a testament to how good the other 2 are.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not that the Izzo is bad, it's just that the other 2 are
Yeah.
that good.
I'm like, man, you end up having to cut the one that's your favorite. But yeah, no, I mean
Yeah.
that makes sense though.
Just trying to be realistic. The Izzo, I am the fastest on the Izzo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If I want to be a Strava
Right?
chat,
Checking gold medals.
yeah, man, the
Yeah.
Izzo, I am so fast on it. Even descending, it is an absolute weapon. But the Jeffsy is just super well rounded,
Yeah.
and I'd rather take a trail bike like the Jeffsy and put lighter weight wheels and tires on it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just kind
Kinda
of have
check
it,
the boxes.
That makes
yeah,
sense.
have it be my do it all.
Yeah.
What do you guys see for the mill in the future? Just keep growing it, keep growing the community?
Yeah, we're. It's funny. I was just talking to some upper management about that this week, where it finally feels like we are in our like at our standard operating temperature,
Mhm.
right? Like we were opening and it was brand new, and we were really figuring out the processes and building those connections in the community, and it finally no longer feels brand new, so we can really focus on what's next. And YT, we're a brand that we love hosting events.
Oh my
We love
gosh.
sharing good times with the community. So I think that's our next big push is how do we meet people's expectations of
Mhm.
what we've already set. So events and parties is going to be a big one for us.
Well, the last one we went to, the Brett Tippy ride, that was amazing. The way you guys host, the way you're able to show his video and everything like that, and then follow it up with a day ride the next day with him. It's like the turnout for that, seemed well received. There's multiple people up there Friday night watching this thing. Everybody eating pizza provided by y'all, beers provided by y'all. And then Saturday morning, it's like everybody, all the same faces, and a few more showed up, bunch more really showed up to rip with them. So it's like it's very cool to see y'all put that together and give people a chance to ride with, professional riders, on his level. It's not like you're riding with like a local pro, like you're riding with one of the guys that did a lot for this sport. So
Living
s-
legend for sure.
Yeah.
We love Brett Tippy. He's the best.
dude, I mean, maybe the best energy ever, so infectious, man. If you're not smiling around Brett, you may want to check your heartbeat because
Yeah.
you may be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a nice guy.
No, but it's super cool. We look forward to whatever you guys do in the future, man. We're always stoked to go up support y'all. Like I said, that just formed naturally, right? It's like we met you, y'all are very cool. Started going to rides, and kind of like how you mentioned earlier, it's like took me to get one, had to talk Grant into getting going to ride one. He's now got one. Jo got one in the mail. So it's like it's working, it's like once you jump on these things and you realize how much it extends your ride, it's like how could you not go do that?
Oh yeah, man. And especially like Mo telling me, how much y'all take care of,
Ah,
them and
second
then
to none.
yeah, and like the community and stuff. I told Mo, I said, dude, I didn't even consider another bike. I mean, my son, he better not be listening, but he's up for a new bike right now. And I told Mo this morning, I said, yep, he'll be on a YT,
Yeah.
like no
Heck yeah.
question.
Well, his service was, like I said, second to none, and he didn't know me from anything. Same with everybody when I first walked in there, but still, it was always great service. You'd have thought I'd known y'all forever, just the way y'all treated me, the way if I'm ever having any issues, bring that thing through, and I've certainly taken advantage of that. I'll run it through. You guys have put new tires on for me, adjusted my seat, new fork, new brakes. It's like, man, all these things, these upgrades that y'all are able to help with is just awesome, and that's kind of what you touched on was like it's not over once the bike sale's over. It's like you guys are still here to get into, if I've got an issue or I'm trying to figure this out, more than happy to help. And that's really everybody at that location.
Yeah, we definitely want people to feel welcome and accepted, and there are no dumb questions. Every question is valid,
No.
and like I said, they're teachable moments. Especially with the industry the way that it is right now. There are so many brand new cyclists, and I think it's easy for people to feel embarrassed wanting to get into something. And I have felt that getting into other hobbies. Right, I walk into the fishing store and I'm like, I want this thing. It's shiny. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then the guy at the counter goes, "That's not what you want." And I'm like, "Okay, what do I want? And he's like, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, this is, oh my goodness, this is not what I was trying to get into right now.
Yeah, I just want fish on the end of this
Yeah,
pole.
yeah,
What do I need for that?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's awesome, man. You think long term you guys will stick around here? You guys loving it? You and the wife?
Oh yeah, we actually just bought a house in Bella Vista, so we're here for the foreseeable future, man. It's been a year now, and there's like a cynical part of me that's waiting for like the okay, when's it gonna wear off?
Yeah,
When am I gonna see the suck?
yeah.
Um, but man, this place is crazy. Like I constantly meet people that I'm just like, this is the most amazing person I've ever met. Like this is the coolest dude. This is the coolest family, and it doesn't stop. So I'm hoping that we continue that trend here.
Well, I think if you survive the summer, that's kind of like the downside of our state is the hot, humid summers, you know. But if you can survive those, man, winter's not bad, spring's amazing, fall's amazing.
Yeah, I think I heard that from so many people, and it was such a mellow summer.
Oh my
And
gosh.
moving out here, everyone's like, "Oh, you guys are gonna this and that." There wasn't a single triple digit day this summer like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got lucky.
We just hang out by the creek, and good to go. You know, there's no.
Well, and it's nice to have those things, you know, so many creeks, so much public lands that we have to explore and stuff like that. So it's like we're fortunate in that aspect. You know, the creek you go to, what, probably 10, 15 minutes from your house, but
Yeah,
it feel
yeah,
like you're 2 hours outside the city.
yeah. I'm even closer to it now, so super fortunate. Yeah,
You ride that bike down there.
yeah.
No, don't get bogged down in the mud.
I saw on Grant's Instagram. He shout out Grizzy Graham. He posted a video with his rig set up at the spot, and I was just thinking, I was like, dude, you didn't even. You're at my spot.
Right?
Didn't
Right?
even invite me.
What the heck, dude?
Yeah. Don't be
Dude,
making that public. Don't be
there
sharing
is more
that.
than one beer in that cooler, man.
Well, we've definitely got some spots we need to get you out to. I know we've been threatening to do it. We just need to put it together, put a date on it, and make it happen, you know.
Yeah, get out and go do some wheeling, show you some local camp spots for sure, especially some of those like kind of Arkansas like hidden gems that you don't normally see. So yeah, we definitely need to do that.
And they're the same, you know. They're hidden gems, but they're not just out too far. Your Montero would make it there, no issues,
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
absolutely. Well, heck yeah. Well, awesome, guys. Well, yeah, I think this finishes up this episode. Jeff, definitely thank you for coming, dude. And
For all that y'all do, you, the YT team, everybody up there, man. You guys, like I said, just go above and beyond. Thankful for you to take time out of your day, come down here and chit chat with us, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. We love what you guys are doing, and it's. I think we align on many levels with
Hmm.
what we're trying to do, especially in the local community. And
Yeah.
I think you ask about what's next. I think we got to get something with backwoods in the books. Got
Let's
a
go.
lot of potential there. Whether it's on the radar or off the books and out in the woods, does not matter. Let's get it done, man.
absolutely.
Right. We know how to burn the candle at both ends. We can good time through the day and the night. That's for sure.
Heck
Okay.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, guys, yeah, check us out at backwoodsadventuremods.com, Instagram's Backwoods Adventure Mods, YouTube is the same. If y'all have any questions, definitely reach out. But guys, we definitely appreciate it. And yeah, definitely look forward to seeing or hearing from you on the next one. Thanks.
See ya.
See ya.
Later.